We are now ready to learn about modulation. Modulation is when we move from one key center to another. So, for example, if I am improvising a piece of music in C major, but then I suddenly move into G major, that's a modulation. As a preparation for this, it's very useful to remind ourselves of the notes of the major and minor scales. So for this memorization exercise, I want you to play slowly all 12 major scales and all 12 minor scales going round the circle of fifths. We're going to begin with the major scales. In this memorization assignment, we play all 12 natural minor scales. Now we go back to the C major scale. Your next task is to turn all of those individual notes into triads or chords. Notice that not all of those chords are major. This one is major, but these two are minor, these two are major, minor, and diminished. What they all have in common, though, is that they all use notes from the C major scale. So, for example, when we go from C to D, we go to D minor because F sharp is not in the C major scale, but F natural is. This is going to become very useful when we come to modulate. So your next memory assignment is to take this pattern and play it in all 12 keys. Let's quickly look at what that would look like in F major. So F major has one flat, and this means that whenever I get to a B, I have to make sure that I play B flat. Let's now take that pattern all the way around the circle of fifths. Now we do the same with the minor scale. So let's play the C natural minor scale. Now I'm going to turn each of those notes into a triad. And notice that not every chord is a minor chord. This one is minor, this one is diminished, major, minor, minor, major, major, minor. But what they all have in common is that they only use notes from the C minor, natural minor scale. So the next memorization assignment is to take that pattern around the circle of fifths. Now we can use those patterns of major and minor to tell us where we can modulate to. So let's go back to C major. Basically, as a rule of thumb, if I'm doing a piece in C major, then I have the option of modulating to D minor, E minor, F major, G major, or A minor. B diminished is not a key, and so we don't consider this an option. Now that's not an exhaustive list of everywhere we could go in a piece of C major, but just mastering those regions is going to really get your improvisations off the ground. So, how do we get there? Well, it's very, very simple. We now know how to establish a tonal centre with a cadence. That's what we've been practicing for the past few lessons. So say that I start in C major, but that I want to go to A minor. All I do is switch from chords 1 and 5 in C major to chords 1 and 5 in A minor. And then to get back, I just do exactly the opposite. So to show you, I'm in C major, A minor, back. And that's all there is to modulation. As you practice modulation, I want to draw your attention to an issue that is bound to come up. Let's use an example. Suppose we are going from C major to E minor. When we go to E minor for the first time, we could either begin with chord 1 of E minor, which is E minor, or chord 5 of E minor, which is B major. And something that you want to experiment with is which of those do you like to start with at the very moment that you're doing the modulation. And I don't want to tell you which it should be. This is when improvisation becomes really useful, because you can experiment with lots of different possibilities and in lots of different situations. But it's an issue that you want to just be aware of as you go about your improvisations.